Okay, so now this is converting from general form to vertex form. Okay, so there's two types, one without anything in front of the x squared and one with. So I'm going to have to show you both for you to really understand this. So first, we're going to get rid of this 12. We're going to add the 12 to both sides. This becomes y plus 12 equals x squared plus 16x. Our next step is to look at this 16. What we're going to do with that 16 is figure this out. First, what is half of 16? Well, half of 16 gives us 8. Alright, so half of 16 gives us 8. And what we're going to do with that 8 is square it, meaning take that number and multiply it by itself. So we're going to take 8 times 8, and we're going to give us 64. Now, we brought the 64 out of nowhere, meaning that we added it to this side, we just added it there. So, since we just added 64 to this side, we had to do the same over here to make it even. So 12 plus 64 gives us 76. Our next step is to look at the 64. Okay, so what we're going to do with that is figure out what two numbers multiply to give us 64 that add to give us 16. Well, this should be easy since we just technically took 8 times 8 to get to 64. So technically it's 8 and 8 multiplies to give you 64 and adds to give you 16. So this is going to be 8 times 8. Okay, so we're going to factor it. It's going to be x plus 8 times x plus 8. Now instead of writing it like this, x plus 8 times x plus 8, what we're going to do is write it like this. It's going to be y plus 76 equals x plus 8 squared, meaning that we have two of them. Okay? And our last step is to get rid of that 76, so we subtract it from both sides. So it becomes y equals x plus 8 squared minus 76. And that is the answer. Now this next one is a little bit more tricky. It's not too much more tricky, but it's just a little bit more because we add one extra step. So we first still get rid of the 17 in the back. Becomes y minus 17 equals 8x squared minus 64x. What you'll notice is when we get to these quadratic stuff, you never want this number in front of the x. It makes things more difficult. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide it out. Okay, so it becomes y minus 17. Since we didn't divide both sides by 8, we have to just bring the 8 in front of a parenthesis. First we look at 8 divided by 8 gives us 1, so we're just going to write x squared. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take negative 64 divided by 8. Well, that gives us negative 8x. Now, just like what we did over here, we're going to have to complete the square. Meaning we're going to have to look on the inside, look at the middle number. That's an 8. Okay, half of 8 is 4, and that 4 squared is 16, so this becomes plus 16. This is where the tricky part comes in. Remember that we can't just bring something out of nowhere and not do it to the other side. So we add 16 to this side. Well, it's not technically 16. Why? Because of this 8 in front. This 8 in front is technically multiplying all these numbers on the inside. So this isn't just 16, it is actually 16 times 8. 16 times 8 is 128. So we didn't just add 16 to this side, we actually added 128. So we're going to do that to both sides. When you do that, it becomes y plus 111 equals 8 x squared minus 8x plus 16. So what we want to do now is factor the 16. So we're going to turn this into negative 4 times negative 4. Okay, so this is going to be y plus 111 equals 8 times x minus 4. And instead of doing this whole thing again where I write it twice and then write it once with a squared, I'm just going to skip to that step. So I'm just going to square this. Then our last step is to get rid of the 111. So you subtract 111 from both sides. So y equals 8 times x minus 4 squared minus 111. Okay? And that's how you do this.